Okay, so we're at Let's Golf today. I'm with Matthew James.
Thanks, Steve.
Callaway staff member, does club fitting and also product training. So today's a big day.
It is.
It's Rogue launch.
Rogue launch.
We have Rogue drivers.
We do.
We have Rogue Standard, Rogue Draw and Rogue Sub.
And Rogue Sub in my hand, yeah.
Okay, so we've got Sergio on the background here.
Yeah.
He's using Rogue.
He will be, yeah.
Okay, so for the viewers then, let's talk about the different heads that you're offering in the options that you're offering in Rogue.
Yeah.
And in particular, let's talk about the technology behind and inside this head.
So as people will be, aware and familiar with all brands now as well, we'll try and make some different heads to just cater for different people's needs. So as we've already alluded to with the new Rogue range, we've got 3 different heads that sit in line with the family. So we've got a draw head, which for us gives us more draw bias than Epic Standard did, even in its most draw setting. We've been able to do that with some slight adaptations to the crown's size, allowing us to move CGs around in the head, get some different placement of the CG, and actually make it a little bit more draw biased than the standard. You've got a standard head, which offers more of a neutral setting, more of a neutral flighted shot than obviously the draw bias. And then in my hands over here, we've got the SUBZERO driver.
Okay, so I'm just showing to the viewers here the standard heads. So you've got this with some different sort of shaft options as well, but the main sort of shaft offering in this is what?
So the main, probably I think will be the most popular, will be the Aldila Synergy. So it's a fairly lightweight shaft offering, and obviously the experience that we have as fitters is that getting the swing weight down, getting the lighter shafts in there allows players to just have a little bit more club head speed. So I suppose the obvious question is, what's different from this with Epic? And there's actually a few different things with there. So the main and important thing is, these drivers do contain the jailbreak technology. The jailbreak technology that we've used from Epic has adapted slightly. So we've made some changes to the shaping of the jailbreak bars. That's allowed the guys in R&D to actually save a little bit of weight and replace that in the head to strategic places to keep CG locations. We've also worked alongside Boeing, as we did with XR16, to really focus on the aerodynamic features of the club head. So we're looking at a range essentially that's a bit more forgiving than Epic, but still offering the same ball speed characteristics.
Okay, so what you're saying is a bit of technology for over the years, from XR16 to Epic.
Yeah.
You've kind of brought in a bit of each of those
Absolutely,
to create the new Rogue. So what type of golfers are we sort of looking at as a fitter then? If I've got this range to offer, and a golfer comes to me, what type of golfers am I going to be looking at with these then?
You're going to be able to cater for everyone.
Okay.
So you've got probably your better players are going to want to go for the SUBZERO, so a slightly lower flighted, lower spinning kind of driver.
Okay.
Standard head is probably going to be your mid-range handicap player, and then your draw head obviously for anyone really that wants to just see a bit more of a neutral sort of draw shape to their shot. So
okay, so somebody that's sort of fading the ball, slicing the ball a bit too much, go with the draw.
Yeah.
Put that bias back on it, and you've done that with the weight technology,
head,
just slowing down the
rotation.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then if we go on to the SUBZERO version, then you've obviously got the weight technology here. Something that we saw in hitting was, explain a little bit about what we can do, what you can do with the weights here, and how that's going to affect flight.
Moving CGs further forward in the head, normally what would happen first of all is that the flight of the ball would be a little bit stronger. It's also going to have a little bit less spin on it. So if you've got a player that's maybe challenged with hitting the ball a little bit too high and a bit too floaty, as fitters, one of the things that we could explore doing is either playing with the loft or playing with the CG placements in the head.
Okay. And this shaft, anything about this shaft in particular with the Aldila shaft?
So the Aldila shaft actually, interestingly, and something that we've already talked about in golf ball, is actually infused with the graphene. So
okay,
it's nice to see that the transition there from from what we're learning of different materials that haven't been used in golf in the past, starting to be used in shafts as well. So
okay, so testing these, we should see some difference in the ball flight then, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, should we do some hitting?
Let's hit some.
Okay then, Matt, so first of all, I'm sick note today, so problem with my shoulder, so I didn't manage to get any loose out there. So we've got your data here.
Yeah.
So tell the viewer then, tell me, what's the difference in these heads? We've obviously carried your shaft from your driver, your gamer at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
To make it fair, we took your shaft out of your gamer and played it in all of the different heads.
Yeah.
And then we took the sub 9 degree, the SUBZERO version, and changed the weighting on that to see how it affected the ball flight.
Yeah, so we've, obviously as we talked about already, that we've kind of lost a little bit of the adjustability from Epic, particularly in the standard model. So now we've just got a standard head and a draw head. So we wanted to test those two against each other, as well as actually, as you've just alluded to, the SUBZERO, where we have got that adjustability in moving weight forwards or backwards in the head. So the first noticeable, really, I suppose, is actually in some of those numbers. So as we've already talked about and always talked about, we look at these pillars to start with. So I'm going to be focusing initially on the SUBZERO, which is top and bottom. So it's closer to what I've got at the moment in the Epic SUBZERO. So you can see there we've left them all at standard, 9 degrees neutral. And moving weight forwards in the head did what I guessed it might. It's actually increased the ball speed a little bit. Launch has come down slightly, but spin rate significantly changed there by nearly 300 RPM. So the difference is downrange to that. We've gained ball speed, we've reduced spin. So you and I would know that, without even having to look downrange, what that's likely to do to those numbers. And we can see there that my average carry improved and my average total actually improved. But interestingly, with doing that, I said to you, and the clips of the shots might even show it as well, that I actually struggled finding target all the time with that.
Yeah.
So this is where, as fitters, we need to have those conversations with the players that we're having, because from launch monitor data, for using the GC2 that we are here today, it'd be a really obvious pick which one's the best, right?
Yeah.
Because I've got it going the longest, and all I've done really is move weight forwards or backwards in the head. But actually, I would say that I would struggle unless I was playing and practicing a lot to really know what I'm going to do with that. And that's just really almost insignificant change in the head by just moving weight a little bit further forwards.
Yeah, we can see that here then. So with the side angle changing and how you started it, and look at the dispersion circle there, left to right with the weight forwards versus the weight back. And the drop in spin is that sort of, if you're going to hit your normal sort of left going, left shot, it's just going to dive into cover, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that 10% plus 10% loss in spin, spin, we talk about spin being your friend, sometimes your enemy.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this case, taking the spin off is your enemy, because it's just going to dip it down into the ground and make it hit ground quicker.
Yep.
So potentially you're going to be dropping out of the sky, losing distance and going
long way left on sometimes, and and that's where we just stress, as we would do in the past, about having those conversations with the guys that we're fitting. It's, I can give you the longest distance, but so then we start just looking at the two standard heads. So again, what differences did we see? Well, there's a little bit of a difference downrange, as you'll see with the draw, and you'll see the dispersion pattern. I don't have any problem drawing the golf ball.
Yeah.
And like we saw last year with a fusion driver, I just cannot get that thing going right.
Yeah.
So the classic cliche, your typical kind of golfer that's maybe struggling with a little bit of a slicey movement, I don't fancy that we can't get that out of their game straight away with that.
Yeah, and you can see from the dispersion left here how much further left you can potentially hit that driver.
And I hit one, and it was about 40-50 yards left, wasn't it? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. So the standard draw versus sub, then, we can see here showing a view of the height difference. So it's going out a little bit higher.
Touch higher.
It's spinning obviously considerably more. We're talking about 30% plus more spin.
Yeah.
So goes up a touch higher, soars much more, gets up in the air.
Yeah.
It's going to help them get that carry distance.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, looking at that then, that's going to be the club that's going to be suiting the teens.
Yeah,
golfer.
Potentially teens upwards,
Yeah, teens upwards, and then the draw possibly teens into the late 20s, the entry-level handicap golfer that wants to take the right side spin off the golf ball, the bias driver.
And then, the thing is, as we said as well, the difference being really between these two heads versus the Sub-Zero is we've got 9-degree offerings in all of them, 10.5-degree offerings in all of them, but the Sub-Zero head loses that. Because again, the kind of player that really wants that kind of driver, the sort of power machine, isn't really going to want that 13.5-degree head. But your slower swing speed players who do suffer with a bit of shape issue, something, either the standard or the draw, depending where their preferences lie, certainly getting the ball up in the air, trying to get a little bit of spin off it where we can, but trying to control that direction is the key.
Yeah.
No point being long if you're not going to be in the fairway, right?
Absolutely. So with 3 different heads there, with how we can move the shaft, the lie angle, the face angle, how we can move in one of them, the weights. You've got quite a big offering going forwards with just that range of clubs on its own.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, we always sort of see it as a bit of a menu really with Callaway's choices, and it's making sure that we can try and cater for everyone.
Yeah. So what do you think Sergio's going to be playing? What model then?
I don't know actually. I haven't seen any sneaks. It wouldn't surprise me if he maybe went standard or Sub-Zero. I think he's a natural drawer of the golf ball, so that's probably not going to be in his bag. But maybe the Sub-Zero, because again, drawers don't tend to like to miss the ball too far left either. So the Sub-Zero is almost a little bit more fade biased than the others. So maybe see the Sub-Zero in his hands.
Yeah, good. So the new Rogue for this year, some great options for fitters.
Yep.
Again, back to, we always sort of bark on about this.
Absolutely,
Go to your local Callaway fitter. Matthew does fitting days and evenings here with me at Let's Golf in Hawley. So if in any of the home counties, south counties, come down and see us here. We've got something scheduled in February. I do fittings throughout the day here at Let's Golf. If you're nowhere near me or nowhere even near the UK, go and see your local Callaway rep, Callaway Pro. You can go on to either the US site, UK sites, find a local stockist.
Absolutely, yeah.
No doubt that pro will have some kind of launch monitor that they can measure and quantify, data, so you can test out this family of clubs, and a good fitter will then be able to then tweak the club accordingly with head and shaft.
Yep.
And be able to really match things up and optimize, and that's the key word here, optimize your ball flight. So gain enough in dispersion, left and right and front to back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about control.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, Steve.